All right, most every significant holiday is celebrated through food and fellowship.
The Village Anchor commemorates Martin Luther King Jr. Day with some of Dr. King's favorite dishes.
Yeah, meet Chef Jeffrey Heidi and owner Kevin Granger. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for
You're
joining
welcome.
us.
It's great to be here.
And we talked about how so many celebrations and remembrances are done with things people love. You all did a little bit of homework here to decide what Dr. King's favorite dishes were.
We absolutely did. Homework is our specialty.
Yeah.
You know, ever since we started the Village Anchor, we've really tried to focus on unique foods from different geographies and that represent different cultures. So the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday is the perfect opportunity for us to showcase sort of what we're all about.
Yeah.
So we actually, obviously the Google researches that we did and Wikipedia, and we found a number of things that he really found pleasure in. The first thing was, we'll start with the dessert because that was his favorite.
The pecan pie.
He loved pecan pie. He loved pecan pie, and he loved vanilla ice cream. So we put together our own version of pecan pie that we've had on the menu before, but we brought it back today just because, and all this week, because it is one of his favorites. Jeff's going to tell you a little bit about the cornbread and all the toppings that go on the cornbread.
And I'm looking at that cornbread there. Is that syrup or honey? What's on that?
Well, it's a cast iron cornbread, and it's drizzled in melted butter, sorghum from Kentucky, and then honey.
Oh my gosh, that looks delicious.
He was a real fan of sorghum, and when we were doing our research, we learned of a lot of different dishes that he liked that included sorghum. So we felt like because of the sweetness, it was a great way to include it in the cornbread.
I've never tried cornbread with sorghum on it.
It's pretty good.
Well, today's your day.
I know it is.
And so, Jeff, what are you pan frying here?
We've got a boneless pork chop here. It's coated in panko breadcrumbs. It's deep fried, and we're doing it in the cast iron skillets. It's also served with a sweet potato pone and kale greens.
Oh boy.
I thought that looked like sweet potato.
It's a sweet potato pone, which is it's originated from a word named apon, which is anything baked. Anything from corn to sweet potatoes, any other vegetables, zucchini. This is one of Martin Luther King Jr.'s favorites, though.
And this is true Southern cooking. It's reminded me of my mother and my grandmother with your cast iron skillets and the way you're doing everything here. And I will say this is perhaps one of the biggest pork chops I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, we take 8 ounces of the pork loin, and then we pound it out real thin, and it makes it real tender.
Well, what is it about the Southern flair? Because this is it in its truest sense, what you're doing today.
It's good, wholesome ingredients. It's simple, stupid. It's just the pecan pie. We did the deep dish pecan pie. Sugar and pecans and eggs. Real simple, even down to the bib salad, which is one of his favorites. With really simple, we use our candied anchor bacon and then pickled onions. Or not pickled onions, pickled eggs.
I was going to say, so those are pickled.
Pickled eggs, yeah, and we pickle them, or they used to pickle them for preservative reasons. And they're red because of the beet juice in it.
Oh, that looks good.
Can I ask a question about the pie? Whenever I try to bake a pecan pie, I can never get it where I think it's done. When I take it out of the oven, it's still like...
a little gooey?
Yeah, it's really jiggly, and then when you know, slice into it, then it gets all runny.
It's going to rise up some, and then as soon as it starts to crack a little bit, when it rises, that's when it's done. If you shake it a little bit and it jiggles a very small amount, that's when it's done. And it'll usually settle some, too. This recipe that we're using, you actually melt the corn syrup and the sugar together instead of just mixing all the ingredients cold. And that's one of the reasons I think that it stood up so much and it held such a great
Oh, it looks great. If it was mine, it would have a puddle around it.
I call it spoon pie.
That's when you just changed the name.
Yeah.
And obviously this is important to you to take dates like today and to turn it into more than just about the restaurant, but to kind of do, let's kind of find something out about somebody we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a really special holiday. I mean, Martin Luther King Jr. stood for a lot of things in American history, and it means a lot of things to a lot of our customers and a lot of the people in general. And what better way to celebrate what he stood for and the great things that he did while he was alive and continues to represent today than to, you know, do this. It's a small effort on our part, but it's a great way to, again, showcase the uniqueness of the restaurant and the different foods and the abilities of our chefs.
Well, thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. And that pork chop, boy, that is breakfast, lunch, and dinner right here. Hey, and to let you know, the Village Anchor is on Park Road in Anchorage.
You can find them online at villageanchor.com.